What's up, guys? Welcome back to one of my shitty YouTube videos. Today I am completing the installation of the 1J, or should I call it now the 1.5J. It's been about a month and a half, probably just about, since I last drove this car. It was smoking from the number 6 cylinder. I thought it was the valve guides, maybe, or the valve seals, sorry. And I just pulled it out for good measure, and when I looked at the cylinder wall, had a scratch running up and down the cylinder wall. So what I did was I found a 2J GE block, the VVTi version. So I got the 2J GTE rods off of eBay for like 250 bucks, and then I got some 1J pistons out of my old engine and put new rings on and upgraded the injectors and changed the rear housing, and basically now it's going to be a completely different little setup, and here it is. So it's looking pretty good. I've got the wrinkle black valve covers going on now rather than the blue that I had before. I have a 82 rear housing now instead of a 61, 62, I forget what size it was, and some 1220 cc injectors from the 650s that I used to have. Another thing that I'm going to end up doing is the GK Tech top hat relocation. Because of these new fenders that I'm running, I ended up buying something kind of without really knowing what I had before. I guess I had some 20 mil or 15 mil or something very slim, so I was like, oh, okay, I only need an inch or so more, and so I went to like 50 mil because I thought the original ones that I had was 25, and no. So basically the purpose of the GK Tech is to push the top of the coil over further out, so it mounts it over here rather than over here, so it gives you about 1.5 inches or 2 inches further out, so your wheel entirely comes out and you get more clearance on the inside, and the front and back doesn't really get affected as much when you're as low. So rather than throwing spacers on, I decided to go that route, because if you throw a spacer on, the wheel comes out further, the pivot point stays the same, and it starts to hit the front and the back of the wheel well. So the GK Tech was the best route to make these wheels fit. So other than that, I got the Treadstone Performance intercooler now. It's rated for 650 horsepower. I'm going to be aiming for 500 maybe, with E85. That's why I got the bigger injectors, so I can run E85 now. Thank you to Treadstone Performance for supporting me. Thank you for Carbine Design Wheels. Thank you for Aquer. I'm not exactly sure how to say your name, the company, but these guys supplied me with some front fenders for extremely reasonable price, and their shipping was on the ball. So they said 3 weeks. 3 weeks later, I got them. Other companies I ordered with them, I asked them if they had any in stock. They said no. I said, okay, what's the wait time? They said about 3 weeks. Okay, cool. A month and a half later, nothing. So it was just kind of one of those situations where their customer service was so horrible. Cough cough, fine line tuning. Everything else is pretty much together. I still have my little water pump deal going on. Initially what happened was the wiring for the water pump wasn't exactly didn't exactly have the best connection, so I rewired that now. As for right now, I'm just mounting up the intercooler and the bumper. I'm basically making a little bracket that'll go off of the actual frame itself, so it'll hold the intercooler. It's not bolted down entirely yet, but yeah, so we're looking good. At first, when I first turned on the engine, I had some head noise. It was from the number 6 area and in the back of the head, basically on the exhaust side. It sounded almost like a lifter tick, but 1Js don't have lifters. They have solid buckets and shims and stuff, so it just sounded really weird. So I think what might have happened was one of the buckets got stuck or not lubricated enough in assembly, and whatever. So it's not making the noise anymore. It was making my knock counter go crazy, but for now we're good. And all I'm waiting for now, parts wise, is a water pipe that runs from the top water neck to the lower water pump. This pipe is from Drift Motion. They typically work for, I think it's the 1J VVTi GTE engine or something like that, but for this application the pipe seems to be too short, so they have a different version. It's an extended version that's about, I think, a quarter of an inch longer or so, and that will seal it. But right now what it's doing is this distance, because of the block being a higher deck, the pipe doesn't seal because the O-rings are too far in. So it either seals on the bottom or it seals on the top, depending on which side you slide it, so it's not long enough. So it's another day. I'm slightly sick, and here's what we've got. So after all this time with running the turbo guard, basically, which is a wire mesh that goes in front of the turbo, it has caused some damage to my turbo. With that being said, the compressor blade that basically runs along the inside of compressor housing, or the inlet, is no longer a sharp edge and very close to the inlet of the turbo. It's more rounded and worn down now, so the efficiency of the turbo has decreased drastically due to that airflow that is no longer airflowy. In the future, I'm going to be getting the turbo rebuilt, but for now I've decided to get basically a air filter setup going. So what I did was a 45-degree off the turbo, because this water pipe is, or the water radiator hose is very close to the actual pipe, and another 45, and then a 9-inch K&N air filter basically tucked away over there, grabbing all of the hot and cold, and hot and possibly cold, more likely hot air from everywhere, rather than just grabbing it from the inlet of the turbo from right above the manifold. It'll be a mixture of a clusterfuck of air, so it'll be okay. Dyno time is going to be in a couple of days. I have to talk to my tuner now. He's gonna basically do a little street tune through remote tuning. Basically what I do is I have my phone, I hotspot my phone to my laptop runs the Haltech software. I do a remote desktop, so basically I just run a remote desktop and my tuner can run the Haltech program through my laptop, if that makes any sense. Look forward for a dyno video and just anything else I do, probably the installation of suspension. If you can, just subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's not that great, but it's also somewhat interesting to watch me do stupid things. So it's a win-win situation for you and me. I win and you win, because you get to see me do stupid stuff and you get to see me break my car. So yeah, I would like this YouTube channel to grow so I can basically get to know more drivers and have more opportunities to have more fun with everyone. So